Well, hello guys. Welcome back. I was feeling really guilty and I asked Loki for help. And Loki's basic answer to me is we are not like them. And what I was feeling guilty about was I really did not want to vote tomorrow. Well, actually later today because it's like 2 or 3 a.m. I really did not want to vote. I just looked at both platforms and I'm like, ugh. I don't like either one. I can't do this to my country in good conscience. I can't vote for the one and say, well, I did it to keep the other out, because I said to Loki, I'm like, we know politicians flip, we know they lie, we know all this stuff. And I didn't like both platforms to begin with, so it wasn't like I kind of liked one and kind of didn't like the other. I did not like either platform to begin with, and I'm not going to go into the politics. If you like whoever's running in your district, I'm happy for you, and you want to go out and vote for someone, you should. But there are times when, in good conscience, if we feel either decision would hurt either ourselves or the country at large, because I'm like, I could see nothing was going to go my way if I voted for either person. I thought, well, I'll look at the broader perspective. Who's going to help the most amount of people? And I'm looking both their platforms, so I'm like, I don't think either one's going to really help anyone. They sound very self-absorbed. They're kind of saying what they think you want to hear, but I don't think they, mean a word they're saying. So I may very likely not vote. In fact, I think I won't, because it would be wrong just to go up and say, oh, but women suffer to get the vote, and oh, people fight for us to vote. Well, they fight for our freedom, and women fought for the right to vote. They did not fight to insist every woman vote in every election ever, because sometimes there is no good solution. And I thought, I can't do either choice to my country. I can't vote for the one just to keep the other one out of office. And no, that's also a bad decision. So, I'm not voting. And why am I talking about that? Because I had asked him, and the answer came up in, like I've told you, sometimes video titles come up. And the answer was, don't help people who don't want to change. And it was as horrible a video as that sounds. Loki is the type of god that will walk up to you, hit you with something, and say, hey, stupid, this is why it's not working. He won't hit you at first, but you know what I mean. If you're absolutely obstinately stubborn, he would hit you with something, and that's how our gods work. Our gods will play hardball when they have to. But this was from a perspective, the Christian perspective. And I'm expecting, love and an open heart and everything. And no, it was, I'm picking out the bits of my book that I like and agree with, because they agree with me and make me feel better about myself. And I'm going to beat you to death with this book. See, this book, I'm going to beat you with it. A couple went to a pastor for marriage counseling. Now, I didn't get to be there in the room. This pastor was telling the story about this pastor he admired, but the pastor says to the husband, you don't love your wife, and the Bible says you should love your wife. And then he turned to the woman, he says, you're not obedient unto your husband, the Bible says you should be. And I heard most thinking people go, ooh, no he didn't. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. What century did you step out of, man? Seriously? Obedient? I'm not saying you have to be Kate from Taming of the Shrew, but obedient? Seriously? Dude, uncool. No gender should be subject to another gender's rule. I'm total feminist, because feminism is not about beat all the men to death. It's about we're all equals. So you go into a marriage as a partnership. And instead of telling him that, saying, hey, your partners, it's 50-50. Sometimes it's 99-1, because one partner ends up doing all the work and the other one ends up doing nothing. But, if you have love, you make it through those times. It's like a partnership with our God. Sometimes it feels like you're doing all the work. Sometimes to them it feels like they're doing all the work. And you have to have open communication, which is what we don't have in this political arena, which is why I'm not voting. You have to have, yeah, and I'm like feeling like, ooh, chills, like somebody touched my ear. You have to have open communication with your partner, in this case, Loki. I'd been very grateful all the other gods came through, but I'm like, Loki, I need to get back to working with you more. He's like, I knew it. And because he's the one that I know, even though Legbo is my advisor and a lot of other ones are my advisors, Loki's the one that's a straight shooter. If you recognize other foxes or weasels or whatever you want to call politicians, and that's unkind to animals, you stay away. If you think they're going to hurt people, if you think that putting them in office would harm people, don't go get involved. Saying you should go get involved, it's like saying you should go get involved in any other bad thing that will end up harming people. No, you shouldn't. So I'm like, well, no, I'm sitting this one out. And that's okay. I've done it before in elections. I usually always try to vote. I try to make every election until we run into an election like this time around where I'm just like, I don't like either one. I really don't. I think the last presidential election really fixed me because I'm like, I don't like either one. I don't trust them. No. But, by the way, if you have a chance to get out and vote and you want to, you should. I'm not saying don't vote. I'm saying in good conscience, I can't vote. And I think what fixed me too was that they're doing a full court press. And on Saturday, my phone was ringing so much, and even though I have my ringers shut off, it kept flashing. It went off 20 times. I was such a nervous wreck that I thought I was going to end up in Bedlam, and I'm like, no. So, sometimes the answer is, communication with our gods, which is completely different from how I started the video. But, Loki had answered me. He didn't answer me right away, but I was like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do you do when neither decision is a good one? It's like asking if you want to be electrocuted or drown. You'd be like, neither. Why? Yeah, sometimes you have to not opt in. Be like, I don't want either. Neither one sounds any good. It's the same thing if you go into a restaurant and you sit down, you don't like anything on the menu, you're not morally obligated to stay in that restaurant. I don't care what kind of song and dance they give you. You're not morally obligated to sit there and think, well, I had to take a seat. I have to eat whatever they have. No. You don't have to do that. Get up and leave. It's America. For now. So, yeah. I figured I would share that with you because Americans can be guilted into voting. And I think some of the worst things you can do is uninformed voting. Just going up and voting at random like you're throwing darts at a board. Even though I understand the feeling as an American. Voting like it's a popularity contest. You don't really care about the politics, but that guy's cool. Or whatever. But, as Americans, we have a right to do whatever we want. So if you want to do dartboard and you want to vote for the cool dude, more power to you. Just, keep in mind they kind of actually do get in office. And if you can't see going to either person for help, whatever capacity they're going to be a leader in, then that tells you everything you need to know. If that's actually how I gauge it. If I look at the person and I think I never could come to you for help, I know I couldn't, then I'm not going to vote for you. That is that simple. So I will be sitting this one out. And that's weird to say because I usually take great pride in going and voting and being an informed voter and doing what I think is best for the greatest number of people, but not this time. Just does not seem to be any winner this time. So, yes, Loki's like, winner, chicken dinner. Chicken came up. So, I hope that helps some of you. I know it's a weird thing to talk about. We usually don't get too political, but sometimes you have to know, when to step away. And I appreciate that the title was to not help people that don't want to change, because American politics never change. And sometimes the best thing to do is to sit it out. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.